A very good morning to you. Hello, wherever you are, whether you're watching live or if you're catching up on the replay. So I am delighted to bring you another Meet the Speaker, and it is the wonderful Sally Trotman from episode 34, Astrology Answers for Confidence. So we're going to deep dive in a bit more into how astrology and numerology can help you today, tomorrow, in the future, and how it can give you a confidence boost and just help you make some really informed decisions. We've also got questions that have been coming in, so we'll have a live Q&A. And obviously, if you are joining us live, feel free to put a question in the chat box. So do let me know if you are here watching us today. I'm going live through StreamYard. Now, StreamYard likes people to grant them permission in order for your name to come up. So for some of you, it might just come up as Facebook user. So it'd be really helpful for me if you haven't used StreamYard before, you've not joined in on one of my lives before, just to put, so-and-so here from such and such, and then I can call you by name. But it'd be lovely to give you a shout out and say hello. And do join in with the conversation. Obviously, if anything that we say, you think, oh, yeah, I'm interested in that, or, oh, I'd like to know more, far away, put the comment in the comments box and I will be looking at those as we go through this session. So we're here for about half an hour or so. There's no particular time limit on it, but I'd imagine we're be about 30 minutes or so. And as I say, we're here to answer your questions and to give you a few more little golden nuggets of information, inspiration, and just everything to make you really confident. So it is a huge warm welcome here to Sally this morning. Hi, Sally, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning, Lara. Good morning, everyone.
Brilliant. And I know people are catching up on the replay because Liz said yesterday, didn't she, that she couldn't join us live. So Liz, big shout out to you. Hello, Liz. And obviously Liz was one of your regulars during the lockdown period when you used to come and do a monthly forecast in my client group, my Sparkle and Shine group. So I know that Liz is going to be watching that. So Sally, we're going to get straight into it because I've got questions here on my board here that we want to get answered. And then obviously we want to just touch on with you a bit more if there's anything else that you want to share about confidence. So are you ready to take the first question?
I am ready. Hit me with it,
right
Lara.
Okay. It's a bit of a mouthful, this one. Right, okay, here we go. A lot of people take Mercury retrograde into consideration when it arrives. However, what does it mean when the other planets are retrograde in terms of how it affects the planet and us on it? So we've got a two-part question there because I think I need you to just explain what Mercury retrograde. This person obviously knows what Mercury retrograde is, but there'll be people out there who don't. So I'm going to ask you to pull back. First of all, explain what Mercury retrograde is, and then answer the second part of this question, which is what does it mean when the other planets are retrograde in terms of how it affects the planet and us on it? And I hope you understand what that means.
I do. I actually do get quite a lot of questions about Mercury retrograde because it gets really bad press. We have 4 retrogrades. There's 4 times a year that Mercury goes retrograde every year, and retrograde means moving backwards. So if you were to look at the planets in the sky, you would see that Mercury is actually moving more slowly than the other planets, which means that it is actually moving, looks like it's moving backwards. So whenever a planet changes direction and starts to move more slowly and move backwards, it has an influence on different areas of our life. So Mercury is the planet of communication and transportation. So more often than not, Mercury retrograde affects our modes of transport. So whether that's your car or journeys that you were trying to make that maybe got held up or cancelled or that kind of thing. And it's also about how we communicate with people. So there can be misunderstandings. You have to be very careful how you communicate, what you say and how you say it when we have Mercury retrograde. So each planet influences this in different ways. So Mercury rules communication and transportation. Venus, for example, rules love and money. So we just had Venus retrograde over the Christmas period. And so when Venus started to shift backwards, retrograde, it's a time for reevaluation of your love life and your finances. So And also it can bring back old income streams. So you might have found in December, January, February, old income streams came back, old opportunities that maybe you hadn't, connected into for years.
Right. I know I'm a bit naive here, and I know I'm not, I know I'm learning about this subject, but how can you explain to me how can the planet influence, you're saying the planet influences communication, or Venus influences money. How does it do that?
Well, I guess if we take it back to basics such as the moon, which governs the tides,
Right.
and we're 90% water. So the moon, when we have a full moon, I think this is the easiest planet to kind of relate to.
Yeah.
People often say around the time of a full moon, I can't sleep, I was up all night, I had loads of ideas, I had lots of dreams, because we've got more illumination in the sky than normal. And, lunacy connects with the term full moon, and it is a proven fact. Apparently they have more admissions to A&E around a full moon. So yeah, it's quite interesting when you look into it. So if you think about how the moon affects the planet, the tides, all of that, and us individually, I think that helps us to understand, because obviously we can see the moon and it's a big planet, and we can relate to that. So if you think that's how the moon affects us, all these other planets that are moving, or we're moving around, whatever, if you think everything's spinning and moving, and how they line up with us on the earth has an influence, has an effect, whether it's a physical effect, mental, emotional effect. It has some kind of effect on us, what the planets are doing, basically.
Gosh, that's so interesting, isn't it? Because unless we sort of sit down and have this conversation, I don't necessarily think about that. But as I say, I appreciate I'm becoming more knowledgeable and I'm learning more about it. I'd love to know what you think if you're joining us live. Do let us know if this is of interest to you, whether you are a new person to astrology. And even if you're catching up on the replay, do put in the comments box. Are you a new person to astrology? Or is this something that you have known about for many, many years, that you follow and you understand? Are you tuned in to what Sally's saying? Can you relate to when there's a full moon, what Sally was describing of not being able to sleep, etc.? And do you notice during when Mercury is retrograde, when it's traveling backwards, do you notice these things happening, or things, I guess we should say, things not happening as they should? Is that how we should say that, Sally?
Yes, or maybe they are happening as they should.
Good point. Right, well, thank you for explaining that. So let's go back to this question. So yes, a lot of people take Mercury retrograde into consideration when it arrives. However, what does it mean when the other planets are retrograde in terms of how it affects the planet and us on it? Over to you.
Okay, that's really interesting, because we had a lot of retrograde planets in 2020 and 2021. So how it affects us. So for example, in 2020, I want to get this right, I think we had 8 retrograde planets. So as we went into lockdown, Mercury was retrograde. And then a number of other planets started to go retrograde. So Jupiter is the planet of luck and expansion. That went retrograde. Now, when Jupiter starts moving backwards, Jupiter's all about expansion and forward movement. So when it starts moving backwards, it sort of contracts everything. So that's generally the feeling, is when planets move retrograde backwards, we are forced to slow down and reflect. So 2020 and 2021, we had a record number of retrogrades, which meant we were forced to slow down and reflect and change direction.
So how many, sorry, I was just going to ask, how many, you said that there was a lot of planets, 8. Yeah. How many would you normally expect in a year then?
You wouldn't expect that many all at one time.
Right.
So, for example, now we have, I don't think we've got any retrograde planets at all, which is very exciting. I'm just checking actually to make sure that I've got that right. So hold on. No, we don't. So there's a forward flow at the moment.
So what does that mean? How can we be capitalizing on that? Because I guess, this question was about the effect of when Mercury goes retrograde, but, we're moving on from that now to sort of say when it doesn't, when it affects us, then obviously we need to slow down and
Yes.
take stock and reflect. Is that answering the question there? Yes.
Absolutely. Time for reflection.
Right. And of course, the opposite of that then is if we've got no planets that are retrograde at the moment, how can we be capitalizing on it?
Go, go, go. That's what I would say.
Go, 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 go.
Go, go, go. This is the first time in I don't know, 2 years plus that we haven't had any retrograde planets at all. So,
Wow.
and we're coming into spring, aren't we, as well? And spring's great because the sun moves into Aries on the 20th of March on the spring equinox. So Aries is a go, go, go planet. So, it's like as we come into spring and towards the end of March as well, Mercury moves into Aries. All the planets are saying, okay, you've been thinking, you've been reevaluating, you've been reflecting, you've got new ideas, you've begun in a new direction, whatever area of life that is. Now take action and go for it.
Right. Okay. I want to hear everybody who's watching and listening. How are you going for it? How will you be going for it in the next few weeks? Take this as a sign, an indication that everything is aligned for you to take inspired action. So act upon all those thoughts that you've had, and if you have any doubts, now's the time to put them aside and hear what Sally has to say and go for it. So Sally, I'm going to ask you a personal question then. What are you particularly going to go for? Is this something you're working on?
That's a great question, isn't it? I'm going to work on getting out there doing more talks, because I've been doing lots of talks online during the last 2 years, and I've just started doing some talks at Champneys twice a month, and I absolutely love it because it is such a good way of getting the word out to everybody about how astrology can help you and guide you. So that's my
brilliant
plan.
So you speak twice a month at Champneys. That's fantastic. Do you just speak there, or do you have courses there?
No, I just speak there at the moment.
But
I think people are very interested to learn, and the ladies have been coming back every other week, and they've said, "Oh, we found the talk so interesting last time. We want to learn more. Can you tell us about this? Can we learn about that?" So yeah, people are really keen to learn about it.
There's certainly been a huge buzz around your episode, and I think from people who, in particular, who haven't necessarily known much about numerology and astrology, and you have a lovely way, Sally, of making everything, explaining it so very simplistically, and for people like me who are learning on our journey, it makes it exciting, it makes it inquiring, and easy to understand. So so I can absolutely see why. So that's brilliant. And of course, if you've not caught up on Sally's episode yet, I will make sure the link is in the comments box so that you can just click away and go back and listen, because it truly is a fascinating, inspirational episode. And Sally talks about how she uses, or how we can use, astrology and numerology to be more confident, to enhance our confidence. And I know towards the end of this live, Sally's going to give us some more top tips on that, aren't you, Sally? And in particular into this month's forecast. Right. Are you ready for the next question?
I'm ready.
Okay. So when I saw this, I'm going to be honest, Sally, when I saw this pop up, I have my BEd honours is English, and I saw the words, what does a conjunction actually mean? And I thought, oh my goodness, this person's asking me to clarify what a conjunction is. I haven't talked about conjunctions in years. And then of course I clicked on the message and saw the whole of it. It says, so it's not a conjunction to do with the English grammar. It's a question that says, what does a conjunction actually mean when it's showing in your chart? So first of all, could you clarify what a conjunction is, rather than the actual meaning of because, though, a joining word, a conjunction, and then we'll go on to knowing and understanding what it actually means when we're looking at our chart. Thank you.
Thank you, Lara. Well, interesting that a conjunction is a joining word, because conjunction means when two planets are joined.
Right.
So there is a crossover with the grammatical meaning, interestingly. So it's when two planets are sitting next to each other at what is called the same degree. So at the time of your birth, all the planets landed or were at a particular degree. So, for example, your sun might have been 21 degrees of Taurus. And at that same moment, perhaps Venus was also at 21 degrees of Taurus. And that would be a conjunction when the two planets are joined and next to each other.
Ooh, okay. Is there any, taking that one step further, what is the implication? Just explain the implication of Mercury retrograde and also when the planets are not retrograde. So what's the implication of that then?
Okay, so let's take that as an example that the Sun and Venus were both at 21 degrees of Taurus conjunct. So the Sun is about your goals and Venus is about love and money. So generally, if you have the Sun and Venus sitting next to each other, these are the kind of people that love luxury, love shopping, love nice things, especially in Taurus as well, because Taurus is quite a hedonistic sign and loves sensual things.
That's Louisa then, my daughter. Yes, that's Louisa.
Yeah. There you go. Maybe she's got a Sun-Venus conjunction. Taurus love their things anyway. I'm a Taurus as well, so I know what that's like. But especially with Sun and Venus sitting next to each other, it means that kind of person would be very driven to achieve their goals as well. And they wouldn't stop until they've got to where they wanted to.
You're describing Louisa.
Wow, it's that Taurian persistence that she's got. It's a good thing.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. And those questions came from Lana, who's in Wales. So I hope those answer your questions, Lana. I know that Lana had a session with you about numerology and she was totally blown away by it and found it so helpful and is using it. Often when I'm in conversation with her, she'll say, oh, yes, I remember when I spoke to Sally. She finds you hugely inspirational. I know she's not the only one. So those were fantastic questions. Okay, you ready for another one, Sally?
Yes.
Okay. What is a lucky number? Or what is a lucky number is the actual question. I think I might rephrase it and put, is there such a thing as a lucky number? I don't know.
Well, yeah, there's probably two ways of looking at it. Is there a lucky number and what are the lucky numbers? I think it depends. For me, I would say, there's certain numbers that repeat in our birth chart. So, for example, Lara, you've got a very strong number 5 in your birth chart. So you're born on the 23rd of the 5th. So I'd say for you, a number 5 is a great number.
I'm writing that down.
Yep. Number 5, the 5th month of the year, any dates which add up to 5. And interestingly, you started your podcast in 2021, which added up to 5. So that was a good year for you.
Brilliant. So in general then, if 5 is a lucky, so actually is what we're saying then that everybody has their own lucky number, and by looking at numerology we will discover what each and every person's lucky number is. Lucky numbers are.
Yeah, lucky numbers. I think it's good to personalize it. The Chinese believe a lot in numerology and work a lot with it, and they believe the number 8 is very lucky. They think it's a really auspicious number to live at number 8, be born on the 8th, because it's the number of infinity. Think of the infinity symbol.
Yes.
So it's the number of power and abundance and success. So they believe that's a very lucky number, whereas they think the number 4 isn't very lucky. So they will, they don't like to connect with the number 4. They even leave out the 4th floor in some buildings because they believe it's
That's incredible. So you informing me that 5 is an important number for me. How should I use that as I move forward? Or how can I apply that each day or each month?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So, for example, the 5th of the month, any numbers that add up to 5, so the 5th of the month or the 14th, 1 plus 4, 5, 23rd of the month, 2 plus 3, 5. So any numbers that add up to 5 in the month, each month, I would say that is a good time for you, especially to promote yourself and get out there, because 5 is about being seen and being heard and being in the limelight.
Goodness. I mean, I genuinely didn't know about this stuff, and then here I am. I'm hosting a podcast, and you're telling me that this stuff. So it's all aligned, isn't it? That's quite incredible. So I'm on the right path then.
You certainly are, Lara. You're aligned with your purpose, which is brilliant.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay. Right. I've got two more questions down here, Sally. The first one is, what is the zodiac?
Oh, so the zodiac wheel is the 12 astrological signs. So the ones that we're familiar with are our star sign or our sun sign. That's the zodiac.
Okay, and then this one follows on. The question is, we have fire signs, water signs, earth signs, and air signs, but what does this mean?
Okay, right. So yes, we've got the 12 signs, and they're divided into those 4 categories. So we've got Gemini, Aquarius, Libra are all air signs.
So I'm an air sign, right? I'm just going to
You're an
write that
air
down.
sign.
Okay, but I don't know what that means, Sally.
Okay, so an air sign is air rules the mind. So it means Gemini, Aquarians, Librans are usually very mentally agile, quick thinkers, overthinkers sometimes.
Oh, God, yes.
That's the challenge of the air sign. You've got a quick mind, but you've got an over analytical mind. So, excuse me, you do have to be careful with that one.
That is me. That is definitely me. Okay, so that's the air sign. So fire signs, water signs, and earth signs.
So fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. They're the go-getters of the zodiac. So if you want to get something done, go to a fire sign, or if you want motivation and encouragement, go to a fire sign, because they will help you, and they're very good at initiating projects, especially Aries, because they're the first sign of the zodiac. So they tend to be very innovative leaders, Aries.
Okay, so water and earth.
Water signs are Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And these are the gentle people. That's how I would refer to water signs. They're empathic, they're sensitive. They can be a little bit moody because the water fluctuates all the time, but they are so caring and kind, and they're great. They're the carers of the zodiac.
So Pisces, is that if you've got a birthday tomorrow, does that mean you're a Pisces?
Yes, we are in Pisces season.
That's Richard. He's got a birthday tomorrow. And yes, he is very kind and caring. And he can be a little bit moody with the water. Yes.
Now you know why.
Now I know why. No, but he is incredibly kind. That's lovely to hear. So so he's a Pisces. And then what about Earth? The Earth signs.
Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and they are generally the organizers of the zodiac. So if you need to make a practical plan, go to an earth sign and they will help you get organized and structure your ideas and ground your ideas. And they tend to like their food and nature and all the essential things in life as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you for that, Sally. That's wonderful. So, Sally, obviously you've had time to ponder since your podcast episode, and obviously you've been doing more talks since then. So just want to sort of touch base with you really on maybe some examples of people that you've worked with, or thoughts that you've got, or plans that you've got about how astrology and numerology can help people become more confident. I mean, obviously you've touched on today already about the fact that there are no planets retrograde. So this is a perfect time to step out of your comfort zone, because I think one of the things that I've really learned and discovered from doing the podcast and interviewing the guests that I've got, one of the sort of common themes or actions that they kind of inspire the audience to take is to overcome their fear that they may have, overcome it, take baby steps and have a go. So really taking on board the information that you've given us today about there's no planets in retrograde, now is the perfect time to step out of your comfort zone. Is that correct?
Yes, it really is, because we can think about it, we can dream about it, we can imagine it, of which we've probably all been doing quite a bit of that recently, because we've got Jupiter in Pisces. It's been there since December, and we've got Neptune in Pisces, and we've got the Sun in Pisces at the moment till the 20th of March. So there's been a lot of dreaming and imagining and reflecting. And now as we move into spring, it really is a taking action time.
Okay, so when's this going to stop? So we know that there's no planets retrograde at the moment. When does this period, if I say go from now until, what would the date be? Are you able to tell us that?
Do you know what? I'm not exactly sure when the next retrograde is, but Mercury retrogrades about every 3 months, and that came to an end in mid-February. So March, April, May. I'd say until the middle of May, we're free of Mercury retrograde. And I need to have a look. Actually, as far as I know, I don't think we have got any other planets moving retrograde. We have got this. In fact, we've got the Sun moving into Aries on the 20th of March, and then we've got Mercury, planet of communication, moving into Aries on the 27th of March, and then Jupiter moves into Aries on the 11th of May. So we're shifting from all this Pisces energy that we've had over the last couple of months of dreaming, reflecting, and feeling a bit sensitive and not necessarily getting out there so much, into a real go-getting energy from the spring equinox until May, and then Jupiter's in Aries for most of the year. That's exciting because Jupiter's expansive and Aries is innovative, go-getting, fiery, take risks. I mean, this is the year to go for it.
And you did mention that on your podcast episodes. That was some of your final words. Be bold, be brave. Go for it. That was one of your key takeaways. So the time is now, everybody. It really is now. Sally. And actually, I'm going to take inspired action just while we're on this call. So obviously, this is going live into the Unlock Your Hidden Confidence Facebook community group, which is a private group. But I've thought while we're speaking, I'm going to see if I can download this and put it as an audio so that actually you can have this on your Instagram or on your Facebook or whatever, Sally, so that we can get the message out. We've just been joined by the lovely Helen Allen. Just joined. We need to catch up. This is my kind of language. Excellent, Helen. And it's lovely that you're joining us from Northern Ireland. And actually, I'm going to give Helen a massive shout out because I'm so thrilled, because Helen is the face and the name. So I'm deviating a bit, but actually this is very relevant because we're talking about taking action and now being a really good time to go for it, go get it. And Helen is doing exactly that. So Helen is the founder. She is the brains behind Colours by Elle. And she brings all my wonderful colour ladies and ladies who haven't had their colours done yet, but just want lovely, colourful shoes. She brings a most fantastic range of beautiful leather sneakers and leather shoes in all the different colours, which of course complement and harmonise wonderfully with anybody who understands color analysis and knows their style. And Helen is going off on a little tour. She's coming out, with COVID restrictions sort of gone now. She's coming on over and she's doing a tour. I think she's got 4 or 5 stops. I think I'm number 1 on the stop. I'm Monday the 28th of March. She will be visiting me here, and anybody who's along the M4 corridor, you are very welcome to come along. Please get in touch and I will give you the details of that. Helen and myself would love to see if you want to come and meet with some like-minded, lovely ladies who enjoy colour and colourful shoes. Just come and see us, and obviously I will have kettlebell out, and I'm always talking colour. But the point about bringing that in there, and Helen's put, thanks for the shout out, Lara. Well, thank you for coming. It is the fact that now is the time, Helen. You'll have to catch up, but Sally is saying now is the time. There are no planets retrograde at the moment, so now is the time for you to take big action. And you doing your tour, and I know you're going down to Cornwall, is absolutely the right time. Is that correct, Sally?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant time. And I would say wear lots of red as we move into Aries season.
Oh, okay. Why wear lots of red? Tell me about that.
So red is about being bold and brave, and it usually helps us to feel more confident. You probably know more about this than me, Lara. And Aries is a fire sign, so we want to connect into those fiery colours: red, orange, golds. So
that is brilliant. And obviously, as a winter, I don't have orange in my palette, but I think I've told you this before. I love orange, and I get my orange fix from orange flowers or little other orange things. I don't actually wear orange anymore, but red is a color that I want more of in my wardrobe. It's actually a color I don't feel I have much of. And I have been, because Helen does these beautiful sneakers, leather sneakers. I have a pair in purple, which I've had for about 4 years. And I did think that if she brings a most gorgeous cherry red, because she has a sort of 2, 3, 4 shades of each color so that they fit the color seasons, I did think I might partake. But you're clearly giving me a sign, Sally, that I should be. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Go for it with your wardrobe. Bring in more red.
I love it. I love it. That's absolutely fantastic. Oh, brilliant. Right. Okay, Sally, we are sort of getting to the last sort of 5 minutes or so. So let's just come back to you now and let's think about this period ahead. You talked about Aries wearing red. We talked about now's the time to go and get it. Do you want to give us a little insight? Because I know you do monthly forecasts. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
She's nodding. She would like to do that. Right, Sally. Okay, over to you. You give us everything you want to do to give us the confidence and the strength to move forward. Over to you, Sally.
Right. Thank you, Lara. I think the most important thing that we've got this month happening next is the full moon in Virgo, which is on the 18th of March. So remember what I was saying about earth signs being organized and making practical plans. So all that dreaming and reflecting that people have been doing, or perhaps you've been doing over the last couple of months, now it's time to put a practical plan together around this full moon in Virgo on the 18th of March to help you to move forward. What is that expression? Failing to plan is planning to fail, That is a real Virgo expression. So get your plan in place. And then as we move forward into the spring, the sun moving into Aries on the 20th of March, then we've got a practical plan to move forward with those ideas. So that's really important over the next 10 days or so. And then we've got a new moon in Aries. That's not till the 1st of April, but this month's galloping by on the 9th of March already. So the next new moon is going to be in Aries on the 1st of April, April Fool's. So that's a good day for playing practical jokes, because Aries is about fun and enjoyment and kind of the childlike side of yourself. So do remember to have fun with all of this, as you're making your practical plan and thinking about how you want to move forward. What is fun to you? How can you have more fun? How can you enjoy yourself and really do what you love from the heart? Because all this Piscean energy that we've had, Jupiter Pisces, Mercury Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, Sun in Pisces, this is all about connecting to your heart and what you love and what really makes your soul sing and shine. That's what we want to be focusing on over the next month. So make a practical plan to move forward with your dreams, heart-centered dreams and goals, and be bold and brave with all that Aries energy, Mercury moving into Aries as well on the 27th of March. So, everything's lining up for us as we move forward. And I feel excited about all of this because we've had so much reflection and regeneration and rejigging and reorganizing. And now we can align with what truly brings us joy and brings others joy and move forward to make those things happen.
Oh, fantastic words of wisdom there. Helen says she loves it. Thank you, Sally. And yes, I totally resonate with what you're saying, Sally. The lovely Lana has just done redone my website for me, and it's got more about the confidence on it, and it's heart-centered. Things evolve, things move. If I think about how the podcast has grown and how my work has grown, it's heart-centered. So I'm glad you put that phrase in about heart-centered. Make that plan based upon what's true to you and true to your heart. So if you are listening to this recording and you're not yet in the Unlock Your Hidden Confidence community Facebook group, do come along and join us, because you only need to just tag Sally's name in, and she will get your message and she'll answer any questions for you. The link is in there as well to re-listen to her episode. So I would love to know, and Sally would love to know, what are your heart-centered plans? What are you going to take inspired action from as a result of hearing Sally speak today? And I love how you talked about us having joy. What brings you joy? I'm going to be talking next week on the podcast about colours that bring you joy. There's a lot around at the moment about dopamine dressing, so it seems only fitting that I should talk about that on the podcast, and it fits in really well. So I think I might have to quote you, Sally. Actually, I think I might have to quote you, because if we're doing things that make us happy and bring us joy, actually wearing colours that complement that and enhance that, and looking down on our feet and seeing a beautiful pair of red or purple or yellow sneakers. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So yes, I'd love to know what brings you joy. So yes, do come on into the group and share your thoughts with us and become part of the community. And of course, if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to put the comments in the box, and Sally and I will address them. So Sally, before you go, just remind everybody how they can get in touch with you. And just, in fact, I should have just asked you, have you got any workshops coming up? I know you do monthly workshops and your forecast. You just want to sort of bring that in at the very end, just to remind people what it is or how it is that they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. Sally Trotman is my business page, or Instagram, Sally T222. I'll put those links below or send them to you, Lara. And I run monthly meditation workshops on Zoom. So the next one is on the 1st of April for the new moon in Aries. So those workshops, I talk a little bit about what's going on astrologically, guide you through meditation to help you to get clear and more confident about how you want to move forward, especially with this Aries energy that is going on. And I also offer personal chart readings on Zoom as well, numerology and tarot readings. And I love to help people with their businesses and their career, and also their relationships, so that we're all happy in our love lives and happy in our working lives. Because I think if we've got those two areas of life in a good place, we feel a lot better, don't we?
Yes, absolutely. And as people get to know me, you will know that I only recommend people that I have tried and tested myself. And I've had the one-to-one with Sally before. And also it was on New Year's Day as well. I came on we did a vision thing, didn't we, for the year ahead. So I can totally recommend Sally. And in terms of personal and business, we touched earlier at the beginning of the session about the numerology around when I started a podcast. That is fascinating, having a business reading and knowing when to take action, etc. Highly recommend that. Absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us, whether you are joining us live or on the replay, or you are listening to the audio version of this at another time. It's been really, really wonderful to have Sally back on as a guest. And I do hope that you've enjoyed this, you've found it inspiring, and whatever it is that you do over the next days and weeks that are coming, make sure that it's heart-centered, make sure that it fills you with joy, and as Sally said, take that bold and brave action. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Sally, any last words, or are you just happy to say goodbye?
Just get out there and do what you love and be brave, and don't let your fear hold you back. That's what I'd say. Go for it.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks so much. Enjoy your day, everybody. Bye for now.
Thanks, Lara.